So for the last few weeks I haven't been showing my face on this channel. As some of you may already know, I was in quite a bad motorbike accident about 6 weeks ago. I smashed my face in. I managed to collide head-on with a pole. So a bunch of fractures. I'll give you the full story on that. But I want to give you guys a quick little update. I'll do a face reveal 6 weeks after the operation and just show you how my progress is going. And I'm also going to share some of the things that I did in order to speed up my recovery and obviously just to optimize my health so that you can use some of these if you want to implement them into your own life. What's up guys, it's Nick Kutz here and welcome to the Mitochondria YouTube channel. On this channel you're going to find content all around light, circadian rhythms and things you can do to optimize your health. Now normally it's all about light and these circadian rhythms, but in this video it's going to be more a bit about the story of what happened about 6 weeks ago, and then there'll be some useful information that you can use if you want to optimize your recovery, whether that's from a surgery or even if it's just general recovery after workouts and stressful situations that we go through in day-to-day life. So to give you a quick little backstory, so what happened is 6 weeks ago I was in Bali in Indonesia and I was riding on my scooter, and as I came around a corner there was a car in my lane. I wasn't going very fast, I was going maybe 50 kilometers an hour, but unfortunately when I swerved off the road I managed to collide with a pole. So I went face first into a pole, and thankfully I had a helmet on that protected the top of my head, but it went through my visor and it managed to smash most of my face. So I'll put up a list of the injuries. I don't actually understand all of these, but basically I fractured a whole bunch of bones in my face. My eyebrow had fractured and collapsed onto my eyelid. I fractured my septum, which is behind my nose, and then my entire cheekbone. Your cheekbone connects in 3 different places. I fractured all 3 places. So I was sitting in hospital and I literally couldn't see out of the side because my bone kept like falling and resting on my eyelid, and every time I swallowed, this is a crazy feeling, every time I swallowed my cheekbone would suction up against my face and then release. And this is obviously before the surgery. Unfortunately, I had to stay in Indonesia. I wasn't fit to fly because I had too many floating bones in my face. So I had to stay and get emergency plastic surgery done in Indonesia. And nothing against the team there. They did an absolutely incredible job considering, but one of the things is they just didn't do things very orthodox. So I've got a lot of plates and screws in my face. But one of the things that they did is they sliced, in order to get to my cheek, they sliced along my head, and they also sliced right along my eyelid, which is apparently something that they don't do anymore. I found this out after seeing doctors here in South Africa, and apparently, that's not how they do things anymore when they're cutting open your face. And what it's done is it caused a whole bunch of scar tissue along that area. And I'll put up a picture to show you, but basically what it meant was that my eyelid started drooping down. And this was a surgery that I was meant to get literally this coming Monday, but because of some of the things that I've implemented, I've recovered really quickly, and I've had 2 surgical interventions which have changed dates or been cancelled, which I'll tell you about now. So the very first one, this was very interesting. I had 2 bolts put into my mouth, and these were because when I broke my septum, my palate actually dropped. So my teeth were sitting completely skew and I had to have those realigned afterwards. So I had these 2 bolts that went directly into my gum and into the bone behind, and those were meant to be in there for 4 weeks. At the 2nd week, I went in just for a consultation or for a checkup, and the doctor had a quick look at the bolts and said, literally on the spot, we had to do the local anesthetic and get them out because my bones were healing too fast. So it was fusing to those weren't going to come out if we didn't do them at that point. So I literally recovered at twice the speed of what the doctors had thought I was going to heal up and when they were going to take those out. And the eye, they had another surgery planned for this coming Monday, and that was cancelled because literally my eye is healed up. You can see it's not drooping like it was before. This entire region has just loosened up again, obviously a bit of massage, but I'm going to tell you about some of the things that I did that have really helped to speed up my healing and my recovery. So the very first one, this is obvious, and I won't dive deep into this, but I cleaned up my diet. I went, I got completely healthy. I cut out all processed foods. There's various different diets out there. I'm not going to go into the specifics. I follow an animal-based diet, so you can look that up if you want to. But then, you know, on top of that, I was just in general being healthy. So I was getting lots of fresh air, I was grounding, I was doing the little exercise that I could. Those are the general things. The other things, and I probably should have said this earlier, put out a disclaimer that none of this should be taken as medical advice. There are some things that I'm going to discuss now that you would need a doctor's supervision to do. Probably need a script in order to get some of these things. I was injecting myself with some stuff, which I'll tell you about now. But none of this is medical advice. This is just me telling my own story. And if you want to look into this, this is something you can do your own research and then make your own decision from there. Supplements that I took. I won't go into the specifics of each of these. Again, you can look into this, but I was taking collagen. That's really good for repair. Something called MSM, which I'd never taken before. There's quite a bit of evidence to show that that helps speed up recovery. Vitamin C, also very good for tissue repair and for nerves. And then lastly, lion's mane. One of the things I didn't mention is from my injury, from both the accident and the surgery, there's a lot of nerve damage. It was completely numb along my face here, all the way up the side of my head and my lips, and even behind my nose. So lion's mane is really good for stimulating neurogenesis, or the formation of new nerves. And in the 6 weeks since then, I have complete sensation back over here. I can feel everything along here, a little bit of numbness on my lip here, but behind my nose, everything like that is completely back to normal. So lion's mane is a great supplement if you want to improve neurogenesis. It's also really good for your brain health. Again, it's the nerves that it helps to rewire in your brain. Now, the one I'm going to tell you about now, this is something I was injecting into my stomach every single day. This is something you won't be able to buy at just a regular health store. But just before I actually went over to Bali, I just picked up a book that's by Tony Robbins. It's called Life Force. And I highly recommend this book if you haven't already got it. Basically what he does in this book is he talks about all these new age things in the medical world that aren't being adopted by the current, medical field. You're not going to get your doctors probably talking about them much, but they are showing a lot of evidence, and if you want to take your health into your own hands, this is something you can do. And one of the chapters there was all about tissue repair and was specifically for post-surgery. And there are these things called peptides, which are amino acids that there's a wide range of them, but there's a host of different benefits to them, whether that's improved brain function, improved hormones, or faster recovery, as I wanted, obviously. And the one I started taking is called Body Protection Compound 157. So it's BPC 157. And basically it's a set of amino acids that you would find in your body in your gastric acids. I believe that's where it is. And there's a lot of evidence to show that it really can speed up recovery. So every single day I was taking this BPC needles and sticking them into my stomach. Not the most fun experience. Even now I still flinch every time I have to inject something just into my belly. But I think it is one of the most profound things that I did in the mix of my recovery protocol, and the reason why my face is able to have been able to recover so quickly is definitely down to that as a contributing factor. Then for my eye, I obviously needed to get the tissues hydrated and moving a lot, so I was doing a lot of massage. Shameless plug here, I will say that one of the best things I've done was to use my red light therapy device every single day. I was very fortunate, or I am very fortunate, that I own a red light therapy company and that our products are some of the best on the market. So I was using my red light therapy device every single day. I would massage the area while I was doing my therapy treatments. I had a lot of scar tissue that was built up over my eyebrow, and this obviously was very tight and pulling my eye drooping like that. And literally within about a week of when I got home, so the first week I was still in Bali. I didn't have my red light therapy devices with me. I was in hospital for about 10 days. And then there was almost no progress with my eye. In fact, it might have even been getting worse. As soon as I got home and I was able to switch on my red light therapy device every single morning and every single evening, I was actually doing twice a day, currently only doing once a day. But just by doing that, within a few days, I already noticed that my eye was getting a lot better. A lot of the scar tissue was being broken down. They said that I was going to have a lump on my eye over here. That's also literally 95% gone. And that's because red light therapy is really good at stimulating new collagen, collagen synthesis in your body. So that's going to help with the repair and break down the bad or the scar tissue. And then it's also really good at hydrating your tissues. When your cells receive red and infrared light, they produce their own endogenous water within the cells. So it was a very important factor that I was getting more hydration and movement in this area while also producing more collagen. So the red light therapy has been an absolute, lifesaver in getting these, my scars and everything repaired. As you saw from the original images, I was quite a mess. I was very swollen. There's one photo I'll put up now where I just come out the hospital. I was in a bit of a dark place because looking at how I looked at that time, I really was scared that that's how I was going to look for the rest of my life. A lot of this came out of fear. I didn't want to look like that, so this entire protocol, I did everything that I could in order to make sure that I could turn this around. And one of the things was definitely being very diligent with my red light therapy sessions, doing my massage, and then all the supplements that I've mentioned. Right now, I am only 6 weeks since the surgery, so I'm very happy with where things are currently. There's still a bit of a scar. You can see this is where I had a skin graft, so I look a little bit like Tanjiro, if you guys watch anime. He's got a little scar here. I'm actually okay if that stays. But other than that, I'm very, very thankful that I knew what to do in this situation. I knew what kind of things would help my body to repair faster. And, hopefully that some of those things that I've mentioned today, you could use, whether that's for post-surgery or whether that's just for your own recovery. That could even be from exercise. I found obviously now that when I'm training in the gym, my recovery is a lot better, and that's because I'm being very good with my diet and I'm doing all these things in order to optimize my recovery and my health in general. Very last thing I just want to mention is that when I did have this injury, there was a lot of support that flooded in, so I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who helped to support at that time. I'm still on the journey. There's still a lot of recovery to be done, a little bit of nerve, but just in general, that will heal with time. If you have any suggestions, I'd be very interested to hear in the comment section if there's anything that you think should be included in this protocol. And then of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Other than that, I hope that you have a fantastic day further, and we'll chat again soon. Cheers.